Last video I modeled this office chair, and this is how it looks with a mat cap material on it. But I don't want to leave it like this, so I want it to look more like this. Alright, these are just very simple materials, but we've got a little bit of something like leather anyhow. And I put some armrests, and we've made a couple of small changes, nothing big at all. Alright, and then we'll wrap it up for the office chair. Alright, so let's leave it looking something like this. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. First of all, let's have a look at these armrests. Make sure that they're back far enough. And let's make those little armrest parts on these. So cursor to selected. And I mean, I can do better than that, I suppose. I can go closer to what I want. I can select that face, Shift S, cursor to selected. And now when I bring in my cube, it's going to show up a little closer. Scale it down. Alright, so what is it we want to do here? Scale it in Z, let's move it down. Let's scale it globally. Let's scale it in the Y. So I'm just pressing SY for stuff like that. Let's move it back so it's not directly centered. That's not too bad right there. Alright, let's go into edge selection and select that edge and this one and this one here. Control B to bevel, pull back, roll my mouse wheel up a few times. 1, 2, 3, let's say. And Shift Alt and click that front edge and this back edge, and Control B again. And my mouse is sticking, it's so hot here. I'll put just 2 divisions there. Okay, let's go back into object mode and apply subdivision surface of 2 and have a look at that. Okay, oh, let's not forget smooth shading. There we go. Maybe it's a little bit too far back. Alright, I think I like that, so I'm going to select the seat, Shift S, cursor to select it because it's central, and I'm going to select that one and click on mirror, and I'm going to use the eyedropper for the mirror object. I'm going to click on the chair, and that's going to put one on the other side. I don't need to apply that mirror, it's just there. So now we have our little armrests. Okay, super. Now I want to also come down to the wheels here, and I'll select that wheel. Let's have a look at this thing here. Because I did Alt P and I did a poke thing with the vertex, I didn't make it overly easy for me to do the next thing I want to do. Unless I can't really put an edge loop there, so I think what I need to do is go into face mode and C for paint select and paint all that stuff. And here, let's use the period key to focus and zoom in on that. Let's do the same on the other side. Okay, we'll circle select all that stuff. So I got them both on that side. Let's just delete those faces and let's come back to here, edge, do that one, and that one at the same time. And I don't know if I have to be in individual origins. Let's find out. E and scale. I'm doing okay. E and scale like that. And then I do have to do these individually. I'm going to select that. I'm going to go E and Alt M merge at center. And then at least I can do something with that. And I'll do the same thing with this. E and Alt M merge at center. Okay, now I can grab these faces. I'll paint select again that. And grab those faces and these faces. I should have both sides, and well, I was in individual origins. I've just looked down here to think about whether or not I have to switch to it, and I was in it. So if you have trouble doing that and doing it on both sides at the same time, if you were on median point, that's the default. You may have had to switch over to there. Anyways, I'm going to go E to extrude, and I believe I have to be in median point. Scale X, and I'm going to pull out like that. And I'm going to put, let's get rid of that for a minute. I'm going to put an edge loop in here to tighten that up. I'm going to bring it pretty close because I want to put a different material on that. And in Subdivision Surface, because things blend into each other, if you don't have pretty sharp lines, you're going to have materials sort of blending from one thing to the other. I'll show you an example where I actually still have that. If you look down here, this silverish part sort of blends in with the black, so you have to get it pretty tight. So we'll just give it a try. And do that. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that's not fully what I want yet. What I can do is I can, well, let's just, let me just try with an edge loop there. Oh, no, that's going to cause a crease in there, isn't it? Which I like. Okay, that's what we're doing. There's a happy little accident there. All right, we're going to go for that. Now, I may still have a little bit of weirdness on the surface there. It's hard to tell. You know what? It's not bad. All right, well, that being the case, that's what I wanted to do. I think I'm going to need to put materials on before I copy it over, because then I'll be going nuts with that. So let me just have a look at this spot here. See, this is what I was talking about. What I need to do is select this edge loop and scale it in more like that, and this one, and pull it down more like that. And we can even put in another one just to push the stuff down, and that'll just give me a sharper edge anyhow. So did that. It's debatable if I want to do anything else with those arms. I don't think so. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, well let's do some materials. So I'm going to turn off. I'm going in. I hit N, and I'm going to turn off the matte cap. All right, so we'll just be back to that. And I think what we'll do is let's bring everything up to sort of the ground level. So A to select everything. We'll bring it up and pretend that it's resting on the ground, and we'll bring in a plane, Shift A, plane, and I'm going to go S10, make it pretty big. Let's go back to 1 and see. I'll just pull the plane up. Okay, so the wheels are resting on the ground there. All right, well, that's a good thing so far. Now, actually, I may just scale this bigger and bigger so that when I go to take my shot, it's pretty big. Alrighty, what's next? I think we're going to do an environment texture to give some lighting in the background and reflections and stuff. So yeah, let's split the screen. With my mouse over in this area, hit T to close that one, and mouse over in that area, T to close that one. And I'm going to switch this to the node editor, N to close this stuff, or you just drag it. And I want an environment texture in the world, sort of like back there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this globe thing here, and I'm in cycles, of course, so I have some default stuff going on there. I'm going to go Shift A, texture, environment texture, drop that in there. I'm going to connect this to this. If I do, well, I can switch to rendered view here, and you're not going to see much except for that. Or I can do Shift Z. Shift Z is the hotkey. All right, so I'll leave it like that. When you see that, it means there's no actual image loaded in yet. So I'm going to hit Open, and I'm going to find an HDR image. These work best, and I'm going to use this one here. Open, and all that's going to do is something like that. Now if I hit 5, you can see my chair is sort of floating on a plane in the sky, but I'm getting some light from this. All right, and there's the ground and stuff like that. I don't particularly want to see that in my render, so I'll choose a position and scale this out better. Anyways, that's in, so I'm going to go with my mouse over in this one, because if my mouse is there and I go Shift Z, it's applying to this window, so my mouse is there, Shift Z. Let's just save again. Cool. All right. With that done, I think we're going to start working on the materials for the chair itself. So let's just choose this area, the base of it, which is going to be black. And I'm going to switch back to this box here, back to the object, and there's no nodes right now for that. So I'm going to click new, and that's going to put down the default ones there. I'm going to go Control and left mouse button to get the knife and chop through there, because I want to disconnect those. I do want a diffuse node though, and I'm going to go Shift A, or you can click Add there. Shift A, shader, I'm going to use glossy. This is the typical setup. Shift A, I need to mix them together, so I'm going to bring in a mix shader. So I'm going to have that kind of stuff. I'll just spread them out a little bit. So I'm going to be connecting this color part here to the shader there. I'm just clicking on the circle and dragging to there, and I'm going to be connecting that to that. All right, so if I do this now, I don't really see that much going on yet. So let's switch the colors. Let's click that and make this dark, and let's make this kind of dark as well, and let's see if we see anything now. Okay, we're starting to get some darkness there. We'll have to work on lighting in a bit. If I hit F5, I can just view that thing there. I don't have a camera set up or anything. We're just looking at this, so I'm getting my black color in there. Now, I'm also going to want to do that wheel, and I see they're not quite on the ground yet. I'm going to choose the things that I want to be black, so I'm just going to come over to the materials here and do that, and let's call this black, by the way. Okay, so that's going to be black, and I want the wheel for the most part to be black. Let's just have a look, make sure that's, see, Shift Z in the right window. All right, it's coming through. This stuff's going to be silver, and this piece is going to be silver, and also inside the wheel. Okay, so let's go ahead and build that color. I could just click this plus button here, black 001, and change this to, I'll call it metal. Okay, metal, and then over here change the color. Well, if I want to make metal, I don't want the diffuse or the mix. I want just the glossy, and I'm going to leave this up here, and I'm going to connect this to there, and that's going to be my metal. And we can tweak that if I want. I think I might use that. I'm not sure. Okay, in that case, I'm going to select this and choose metal. So let's just have a look and see what the difference is. Okay, well, you don't get to see much with that. In fact, let's just make this for the most part. Let's make the background, and then we'll be able to see everything better. Let's choose glossy as well, and Control and cut. Shift A. Let's bring in a mixed shader node. Bring that in there, and this in here, and this in here. But I want to make this blue. Make this a light blue. And this is going to be, I'll call this floor. Let's just see if it's taken it. Shift Z. Okay, so we can see a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to select the wheel, and I'm going to make it black, and I can switch over to materials if I want, and then I can see quicker what's happening. And then I'm going to go into that wheel, and circle select, or I guess I select all that, and switch over to face, and I lost my selection. There we go. Control plus plus. And then here you got to be careful just how far you go. I think that's fine, and I am going to create a new slot and assign metal to that, and assign. And we'll check that out in a bit. All right. One thing I often like to do is put things like the plane and the lights on another layer. Okay. Did I do it? No, I didn't do it. Move to another layer. Okay. Back to the wheel. In fact, let's select a piece and period key to focus on that. I'm going to Shift Alt and click all of that, and I hope that's going to be enough. I might have to put some more edge loops in there. I want that part to be metal. Yeah, see, because of that. So You can try going out one more and seeing if that actually just brings it just to the edge, but it doesn't. Okay, it brings it a bit too far. So what I'll do instead, I think, is I'll end up wasting more polys, but I'll do this. Why is that happening? Scale in the X. Okay, well, maybe it doesn't like that, so I grab that one and pull it over. This one, pulling it over. You know what? I better be careful. I better use edge slide. GG. I'm not sure if it mattered. I got a weird feeling there. Let's try this again and see how far out it goes. Oh, you're playing games with me, are you? Alright, then we are going to go out one more. And maybe it'll be constrained. Yeah, it's constrained by those edge loops now. Alright, that's fine anyhow. Let's come over here, and on this side, we'll do that. Control plus plus, and I want metal on there. Alright, cool. So, Shift Z, and you can see that that wheel is going to be like that. Alright, it's not going to look that good yet without real lighting, but I'm gonna work with that. Let's close the node editor right now. Let's just maximize that, and let's go ahead and switch back to material so we can just see. And I'm going to delete these other wheels that we did. Cool. And then just box select those. And I think in top view, in wireframe, I'll just move them around. Shift D each time and drop them. I'm hitting G. Oh, did I lose one there? Or no, it's in there. All right, let's go back to solid view, and then let's adjust. They don't have to be amazingly placed. It's reasonable. That's pretty good, actually. Alright, I think that's probably okay. Let's bring the floor back. Okie doke. Alright. Let's choose, let's not have the floor in there. This piece I'm going to want to have black. This piece I'm going to want to have black. That end I want to have black, but this I want as metal. Okay. Smart thing is to leave this alone, but we're not going to. We're gonna put some more color in there. So let's see how this works. Come right down, Shift Alt and click that one, and Shift Alt and click that one. I might need another edge loop in there. Let's try metal and assign. All right, let's go back into material. That looks pretty good there. This looks pretty sloppy, although we're not going to see it in the render, but still. Let's just put another edge loop. You see the way it sort of tightens in there? That's probably all right. All these aren't too crazy. These are going to be black. And so is this. All right. And now it's just time to do the seats and the armrests. With the background, let's just have another look at this. Okay, cool. All right, so let's split the screen again and go back to the node editor. Let's select the seat and hit N. Let's click new, and I'll just get some default nodes here. Now, let's go over here and have a look at the node setup that I want to use for this. This is not a complicated one. but it seems to do the job. So I'm going to have a diffuse, a glossy, and a mix shader going in the material output, and then this stuff. So let's build this top half first. So just diffuse and glossy. These look pretty much like default values, but a little bit more of the color than the glossy, the diffuse than the glossy. Okay, diffuse and glossy and a mix shader. So I got a diffuse there. Let's cut that. Control and left mouse button. Let's bring in a glossy down there. I know this one I want to have, I think, a nice orange color there. Let's bring in a mix shader and drop it down. Let's go Control plus arrow to give ourselves some room here. In fact, let's bring that up. We have some stuff underneath there. Okay, let's connect this guy and this guy, and let's make this say 0.2 for the moment. Let's connect this to this. Let's just have a look at that, see what that's done. Okay, you can see that. Let's call this seat. Okay, so that I can just click that and choose seat as well, and we'll start seeing it all on the same on the model. Okay, because that was mirrored, it went to both of them. So what I think I should do though before going on is just throw in a light. Shift A. Well, yeah, probably going to use area light. So we're gonna make a plane. Let's close this up. Let's scale this in the X, and then we'll rotate in the X and face it downwards, a bit up maybe. And let's click new for new material. We don't have to go to the node editor. I'm just going to choose emission. And I'll make this like 5. Let's just see if we can see anything with this. Okay, well maybe we could do a few more. I'll scale that bigger. And maybe I'll make that 7. Let's copy this, and I'm gonna. This is a material, and so if I make a change to this one, I'm gonna rotate this. That's not gonna change anything. And bring it over here and RZ, you know, on a bit of an angle, maybe a bit higher too. If I change this here, it's going to affect this one as well. They're both the same material. See, material 001, material 001. So if I hit up the plus, material 002. So if I change the strength say to 3, if I click back on this one, the strength's still 7. So if you're doing it with the area lights made of planes and the material is the emission, you may want to make copies. Shift D. I'll bring another one over here and I'll rotate Z. Let's do something like that. I'll scale it a little bit. Bring it over there. I'll try leaving at 3. We'll see what that's like. Let's come over here for a second and see if we're starting to see any more. Okay, well, we're certainly seeing more. Another thing that I'll do is with that light selected, I'm going to click this box here and I'll come down to cycles settings, and I'm going to unclick for ray visibility, unclick camera, and I'm going to select the next one and unclick camera, and select that other one and unclick camera, so that if I do this and I go Shift Z, I don't see those anymore. They still provide their light, but I just don't see them. Okay, so that's something I wanted to do. But I'm also going to take the plane. Let's see what's on here. Ah, good. All that stuff is on my second layer. So if I happen to be here and I go Shift Z, it's going to be, I'm not going to get any of that stuff. I just have to click on that layer as well. Shift click on that layer, and then I get the effects. They're just out of the way. All right. Okay, so back to the chair. Okay, back to the node editor. Let's select the seat, and that's so that was what we had going on there. so we can see what's going on. Okay, so we're coming back to this. So I'm going to add this texture here that's going to sort of create the fake leather kind of look, and an invert node and a power. All right, so let's go get this texture and an invert and power, and see if I can remember where they all are. So texture, there we go. We got that guy. All right, I'm going to scale. We'll put up to 100 for now. All right, so we're going to need color invert. Oh, I found it right away. And we're going to need a math node, I think. Where's math again? Under vector, you would think converter. There we go, math. And we're going to switch this over to power. Okay, cool. And let's just make sure we get the inputs right. So color is going to color and color is going to value. All right, of course, we're not dealing with color to color and color to value. All right, and let's get some of these values going. So we got that 0.8 and 0.01. 0.8 and 0.01. You can mess around with these and try them. All right, well, nothing's happening yet because we're going to connect this. I'm going to box select all these, and that didn't work, did it? All right, whatever. I'm going to connect this to the displacement. All right, and now you can start to see some of this pattern. Now you might think that's too much, and so you can just adjust that. But let's go ahead and let's do a quick F12 render, but bring the samples up and not too high so that we can render it relatively quickly. We are also going to need a camera though, aren't we? All right, so let's Shift Z, get out of there, and Shift A. Let me bring in a camera. Like that, and we'll go N for the properties. And we are going to, where's my camera? My camera here. I'm going to switch this to 50 first of all. And just get the camera. Okay, camera. There we go. View. Lock camera to view. That's what I was looking for. And to close that. And we'll look through and, oh great, we're behind. There. Oh, I guess I got my camera on the first layer. That's actually not a bad idea. Okay. I was behind the light. Hit the home button to go fuller screen. And we got that. Let's just bring that back. And let's try to Shift Z through the camera. Alright, cool. So that's what we got. So we got our background there. That's alright. Let's just see what this looks like with a quick F12 render. It's already looking a lot better than the matte cap. This is not a great floor or anything for realism. So we'll just think about that. I'm not sure if it's going to matter that much. But if you had a floor that had some cool imperfections and, you know, books on the floor, cool stuff like that, you'd see it reflecting off the metal here. Otherwise, the metal doesn't really, you know, it's just blue. But you can see that texture in there. And the wheels look nicer as well. It'd be nice to have a couple of bolts and cables and stuff. But that's the general, you know, idea. Very simple, very straightforward, very quick. You know, and then you know, mess around with the lighting until you get the lighting right. Now, I'm just doing it real fast here and not spending much time on it. But that looks quite nice compared to the matte cap. All right. You can see that. Let's scale this bigger, like that. Maybe we'll try a bit of a different angle. And I think what I'll do is let me just Shift Z, look at there. Just get an angle that you like, and I'll do a better render for that. I'll do it from there, I think. Okay, so I would set this up like okay, well, I'm on a pretty high setting there actually, I guess, and I'll switch that to 16. You can lower the compression. I'll put this at 400 for now. And that's probably good enough. I don't think I'm going to deal with clamp or anything. I'm going to give that a try. I'll let it go, and then we'll come back and we'll have a look at that. All right, here's my render, and you can see the detail in the sort of fake leather, and a little bit of shine here and there. Really not too much to reflect in this environment, and a little bit blown out with the lighting, but still, if you fiddled around with it and you put some objects in the background, it still looks pretty nice. And I didn't do it on an overly high sampling either. All right, so that's how I would add materials, at least at this level of my ability and skills. All right, so hope that helps. Bye-bye.